Hey guys, this is Dylan with Bourbon United. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and kick off this different ideas, bashed around with friends, fellow bourbon drinkers in Louisiana, around the country, in the military over all the years. Been wanting to do a podcast for years. Been watching whiskey tubers, bourbon tubers, whatever you like to refer to it as, for quite some time now, and really wanted to dial in what we covered and what we reviewed, who we interviewed, what exactly the entire podcast entailed. Wanted to keep it within some sort of guidelines and veer out as needed, but what we finally decided to settle or go with was a podcast that listened to and invited listeners to discuss their bourbon journey, where they started, what year it was, what the bourbon economy was like, and go from there. Starting with mine, and probably episode 1, we'll discuss where my bourbon journey started back in 2001 when I was in the military, and what that looked like, and where that drove me, and what interest that piqued. The other thing I'd like to do is dive deeper into local distilleries, particularly bourbon whiskey distilleries, in Louisiana particularly, starting there and branching out within the southern states that have, particularly in the last 2 years, drawn a lot of interest to rapid aging or hot rickhouse aging, which, as we all know, some have done better than others, and some have produced whiskey that we may not necessarily enjoy, or it may take some time to refine our palates to. It's just something different, and not saying anything different from our traditional whiskeys is bad. It just requires some different thought processes and different palates to maybe enjoy it or not enjoy it. So having those discussions with each other within Facebook groups around Louisiana and around the country, and across this channel as the channel grows. So that's kind of where I'd like to start it, and going from there. Just also looking at the current state of the union in the bourbon world. It's been talked about amongst many whiskey tubers over the last few months. So looking at the past, of course, more importantly, looking at the present and in the future of where we are with the phases that we've gone through and where whiskey's going to. Just having those conversations with different listeners, different enthusiasts, and by no means am I claiming to be a whiskey expert, a bourbon expert of any sort. I'm still learning, even though I've been drinking whiskey for over 20 years, enjoying it, collecting it, sharing it, and being involved in many different conversations with many different whiskey lovers over the years. Just want to continue that and share that insight and share that with other people for something to watch. You know, when we're bored or we're traveling and we listen to podcasts, we're always interested to see what others' thoughts are on whiskey and what we enjoy the most, with different bits and pieces of it, the history of it, in different distilleries and where they came from, and the buyouts and the sellouts and the different versions of different brands as they come back. These are all things I think we all find very interesting. I'd like to dive deeper into a lot of those things, and do it our own way here in Louisiana, here in the South. I feel like we've had a few whiskey podcasts, none of which I've really found that interesting to stick with for very long. Some aren't relatable. Too uptight, too fancy, too boardroomy, to some people that are giant talking heads that just scream into the microphone, and that's not really my cup of tea either. So wanted to start something different. Here in Louisiana, we like to eat a lot of great food, and by God, we're going to drink a lot of good whiskey. So I'd like you guys to join me on this journey as we go through these episodes. Not sure how often we'll go live. I know that's a big thing now. A lot of podcasters are doing at least weekly lives. Don't think you guys want to sit there and listen to me live for episode after episode by myself. But as I feel like we get certain people of interest that I can interview or have discussions and have pours with, it's probably worth going live and start discussing future events and things to do together as a group within different bourbon festivals and different things happening in the area. All great topics and exciting times. So, like I said before, this is Bourbon United. I'm Dylan, and I'll be signing off for now. When this posts, do me a huge favor and like and subscribe. Also, put something in the comments about your thoughts about what we're going to cover, any ideas we can cover, and what your thought is on another bourbon podcast that's out there. So until then, this is Dylan signing off. Thank you.